Too much mud, sipping on junk to reap a nigga. Scroll through pictures of myself, gotta face my demons, nigga. If no one else, I'ma do it myself, I plan to leave a nigga. Front on, I'm gon' lead on my own. Hustlin', ballin', got it right now, I'm strong.
Yo, what it do? Is your boy KB's TV, man. We back with another reaction video. Man, we back. Hey man, we got 10 craziest stat lines of Wilt Chamberlain's career for this video, man. Like I say, you new to this channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will get to it. No matter what video y'all want me to react to, we gonna react to it. I appreciate y'all for tapping on this video. I appreciate y'all for liking, subscribing, everything, man. I appreciate y'all. We're finna get into this video. Get your popcorns ready. Let's go.
Most dominant players to ever play basketball, and the greatest record breaker in NBA history. Wilt had countless games with mind-boggling numbers that are likely never going to be repeated again. Here are the craziest stat lines of Chamberlain's career. Unofficial quintuple-double, 53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, 24 blocks, and 11 steals. This has never been officially confirmed, but the statistically most dominant player ever had a quintuple-double, a feat that has never been achieved before or since. This happened in a game between his Sixers and the Lakers in 1969, but the NBA didn't count blocks and steals back then, so we can't know for sure. We do know that he had a preposterous triple-double on that day, with 53 points.
They weren't counting blocks and steals back then? That's crazy. When they started doing that? Well, I mean, I want to know when they started counting like blocks and steals. That's crazy. And the 3-point line wasn't invented, so Wilt might have more points than what he actually. He probably had way more points than what he actually was averaging. Keep it honest with you, because they didn't have no 3-point line. If they would have had a 3-point line, man, I guarantee he would have figured that out too, and his average points would have been crazy.
32 rebounds and 14 assists. This would turn heads if it was anybody else, but with Wilt, those kind of numbers were almost expected. But what the NBA didn't write down were his 24 blocks and 11 steals in that game, which would count for one of the craziest stat lines ever, even for Chamberlain. Most points in a game, 100 points, 25 rebounds, 2 assists. It should have just been another game between the Warriors and the Knicks, and Wilt didn't really prepare for it, not unless you count clubbing and spending the night with a woman as preparation. Wilt was almost late for the train to Hershey in Pennsylvania, where the game was held in front of 4,000 people. But it didn't take too long for Wilt to get going. Chamberlain scored 41 in the first half. He wasn't too excited about it. It was just business as usual, as he would often score over 30 and a half. However, his domination continued in the second half as well, and his teammates began feeding him the ball on every possession, realizing that something special was cooking. The Knicks players realized this too, and began fouling all the Warriors players so that Wilt doesn't get the ball. In the end, the game turned into a farce, but nobody will remember that. What people will remember forever is the picture of young Wilt taking a picture with a 100 written on it, after the highest scoring output in NBA history. For those 100 points, he made 36 out of 63 shots, and 28 out of 32 from the free throw line, which is an impressive feat if we know that his career free throw average barely exceeds 50%. Philadelphia won the game 169 to 147, which was a record for most points scored in a game. Other than that, Wilt set 6 overall records that night. Other than 100 points, he set the new bar for most field goals made and attempted, number of free throws made, number of points scored in a quarter with 31, and points scored in a half with 59. Most rebounds in a game, 34 points, 55 rebounds, 4 assists. Other than mesmerizing scoring games, Wilt also had rebounding numbers that seem unreal today. He led the league in rebounding in 11 out of his 14 seasons, and he often had as many boards as the entire teams in an NBA game today. There are 3 reasons for that, other than the fact that Wilt was a 7'1" athletic demigod who looked like he time traveled to the 60s from the future. First, he usually played all 48 minutes, while the players today averaged 36 minutes or less. Wilt also played in an era where the pace was much faster, and teams teams were averaging 110 shot attempts per game, compared to 90 shots per game in 2020. Finally, the average field goal percentage was about 5% worse in the 60s than it is now, which of course meant 5% more rebounds for Wilt to grab. Among the active players, Kevin Love holds the record for most rebounds in a game with 31, which means that Wilt's record of 55 rebounds in a game is basically unbreakable. But Wilt is not to blame for the rules in the era he played in. He was undoubtedly the best rebounder of his time, together with his arch rival Bill Russell. In fact, Wilt made the record against the Celtics and Bill Russell, which makes it even more impressive. Chamberlain had 34 points to go along with his double nickel in rebounds. But as it often happened, it wasn't enough to beat the Celtics, who won 132 to 129. First ever 20-20-20 game. 22 points, 25 rebounds, 21 assists. Everybody always viewed Wilt just as a monstrous scoring machine, but because the Celtics were winning all the titles, and because his scoring would often be in vain, Wilt was criticized for scoring too much, and the media sometimes portrayed him as selfish. In 1968, Wilt decided that he would prove the naysayers wrong, and that he would be a passer first and a scorer second. He could have kept scoring 50 a game, but the man was so dominant that he got bored, and decided to become the best passer in the league, basically just for the hell of it. What Wilt wanted to do, he usually achieved, and to this date, he's the only center to lead the league in assists, with 8.6 dimes per game in 1968. That season, he produced some unreal numbers again, and the most impressive was definitely the double-triple-double, or the 20-20-20 game. In a home game against Detroit, Wilt dominated with 22 points, 25 rebounds, and 21 assists in a 131-121 win. It was the only 20-20-20 performance in basketball history until Russell Westbrook did it in 2019. 78 versus Weston Baylor. 78 points, 43 rebounds, 1 assist. One of the most entertaining games in NBA history was played in 1961 between the Warriors and the Lakers. You had Wilt on one side and two other NBA legends in Jerry West and Elgin Baylor on the other. The game went to triple overtime, and Wilt broke the record for most points in a game, which would last only for a couple of months, until he broke it again with 100 points. Wilt scored 78 with 31 of 62 from the floor, 16 of 31 from the free throw line, and he also snatched 43 rebounds. But it still wasn't enough. The Lakers finally prevailed in the third overtime with 63 points from Baylor, 32 from West. Wilt wasn't happy after the game, despite breaking the NBA scoring record previously held by Baylor. As far as I'm concerned, it was a useless 78 points. He lost the game, Wilt. Most rebounds in a playoff game, 20 points, 41 rebounds, 9 assists. Before the 1966-1967 NBA season, the Philadelphia 76ers changed their head coach, and the new coach, Alex Hannum, demanded more from Chamberlain. He wanted him to focus more on defense and rebounding, as the team finally had enough scorers around Wilt. As a result of the change, Chamberlain scored only 24.1 points, but with 24.1 rebounds, he led the league, and he also averaged 7.8 assists per game. The 76ers finished the season with 68 wins, the best record in the NBA, and Chamberlain was named the MVP. In the playoffs, Wilt finally got past Bill Russell and the Celtics for the first and only time in his career. In the third game of the series, Chamberlain collected a playoff record of 41 rebounds, ensuring his team the victory and a 3-0 series lead. In 5 games, Wilt averaged 21 points, 32 rebounds, and 10 assists, and he deservedly celebrated over Russell, who had 11, 23, and 6 for the series. Wilt and the Sixers would win their first NBA title in the finals against the Warriors, his former franchise. Most consecutive shots made, 18 for 18, 42 points, 30 rebounds, 10 assists. Wilt led the NBA in field goal percentage in 9 of his 14 seasons, and he was exceptionally efficient in 1967, the best year of his career. Over a 4-game stretch in February of 1967, Wilt Chamberlain could not miss, making 35 consecutive shots in that span, an NBA record. The efficiency extravaganza was highlighted with an 18 out of 18 performance against the Baltimore Bullets, to go along with around 30 rebounds and 10 assists. Granted, the majority of his shots were dunks and short hooks near the rim, but still, not Shaq, Kareem, or any other center managed to come close to 100% shooting on that number of shots. Thomas Bryant and Gary Payton are next on that list, with 14 made field goals without a miss. Most points scored by a rookie, 58 points, 42 rebounds, 4 assists. It's not surprising that Wilt holds the record for most points scored by a rookie, but Wilt being Wilt, he had to stand out, as he did it on 2 separate occasions. His first 58 came against the Pistons on January 25th, 1960. Wilt shot an efficient 24 out of 41 from the field, and 10 out of 13 from the line in 47 minutes on the floor. He repeated the same output a month later against the Knicks, this time playing the entire 48 minutes of the game. He shot 26 out of 47 and hit 6 out of 9 free throws in a 129-122 victory. 73 points, 36 rebounds, 0 assists. Before he scored 100 against the Knicks, Wilt was torching the entire league for the whole year, and the 100 was just the icing on the best scoring season in basketball history. On January 13th, 1962, 2 months before the game in Hershey, Chamberlain erupted for 73 points and 36 rebounds in the Warriors' win against Chicago, who were still called the Packers back then. Wilt Chamberlain already had scored 78 points in a game, but that came in a triple overtime, and this was even more impressive because he only needed 48 minutes. These kinds of performances were nothing unusual for Chamberlain, who averaged 50.4 points that year, and just how much of his focus was on scoring is clearly visible with this game against the Packers, where he scored all those points but finished with 0 assists. Now that's a true definition of tunnel vision. 73 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist. After he finished the season with 50 points on average, Wilt didn't skip a beat next year and continued to torture NBA defenses. On November 16th, 1962, Chamberlain delivered another scorching performance against the Knicks, his dearest customers. Wilt gifted them with 73 points on 29 of 43 from the field and 15 of 19 from the free throw line, along with 14 rebounds, and he even managed to pass once. Chamberlain led the Warriors to a 127-111 win over the Knicks, and for the 1962-1963 season, he averaged 44.8 points and 24.3 rebounds per game on 53.
Man, scoring was so easy for him. I see why he said he got bored, because it was so easy for him. Oh my God, Wilt was a different animal, man. Wilt was crazy.
Shooting from the field, playing a ridiculous 47.6 minutes per game. Despite his individual dominance, the Warriors went 31-49 that season and missed the playoffs. This tells you that he really needed to score all those points to give his team a fighting chance, and it's easy to see why he was always losing to Bill Russell in his early years. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as we put out videos like these every day. Let us know what you thought about this video in the comments, and what video you would like to see next.
Said, man, y'all make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment what video y'all want to see next. We gonna react to him, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping on this video, man. Hey man, see y'all in the next video. Love y'all.